wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroLada.com, and these are your astrology videos for April 2022. The April 2022 is full of new beginnings again. All planets are moving direct, so we're continuing into new territory. A lot of new unexpected events for the whole world, but for us personally as well, where we're required to adapt and to act very fast, and we'll be surprised constantly. And the eclipses are starting. The eclipses! The whole financial situation and economy might be shaken. We already can feel it a month before that with an eclipse in Taurus, and we all have to adapt very quickly. Let's find out how it will affect you personally. It's going to be a very exciting month. And Jupiter Neptune conjunction, wow, this is divine blessings that are given to us. They almost like can fall on our lap, and divine intuition. So let's see how to adapt. But first I wanted to excitedly to tell you that I'm doing a course of 6 months. Me personally, I rarely do courses, that how to interpret the natal chart, the AstroLada method. We're going to be using all techniques that I've gathered from Western Babylonian, Greek, Vedic astrology that work the best, and I'll teach you these techniques, how to read a natal chart, to put it together, to make sense of it. And you need to know minimal astrology, what the signs are, what the planets are, what the houses mean. And I will teach you my methods, and we'll look at different life themes, how to look at love, how to look at career, and how to, if you're analyzing a chart, what's the most important things, where to start, and how to answer questions of astrology very easy. I love easy techniques. I don't like difficult astrology. Astrology should have easy answers. I'm an Aries. I need quite quick, fast, easy answers. Not looking at semi-squares and midpoints. No, it has to be very simple, sticks out. So much fire, political career, fantastic, or whatever. So I teach you how I do that with very easy astrology techniques. Join me. It's 30% discounted for the first 150 people. So thank you so much. Let's start the 12 signs. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2022. The month starts with a bang, new moon in Aries with Mercury. So in your 11th house, on the 1st of April it happens. So maybe some new beginning through friendships. Maybe a new friend can enter your life. It's the 11th house of friendships after all. Or maybe some Mercury is about communication, writing, speaking. When it's going to be there, you can receive some important news or conversation with a friend or like-minded person. You can join some group or organization of like-minded people, or you can have some activity or event that centers around spending time with others, that you're connected through beliefs or ideology or interests of some sort, or some event with more people. Maybe it might be party, it might be some cultural event, whatever it is. But there is new moon in your 11th house every April. There is like a renewal of relationships, friendships, possibility to meet new friends, because Mercury is there again, more conversational, more social. And the 11th house is also the renewal of your long-term goals and plans for the future. So some of you might start on a new goal that requires, and it's possibly, no, it's not going, maybe for the next 2 weeks it might be of a theme, some goal that can make you more gainful, maybe some marketing campaign. 11th house is very business oriented. Mercury is very business oriented. The new moon is new ideas. So maybe some of you can do some marketing or start a new project to gain more followers, so to be on social media, or how to make their business more popular to reach more audience, or some other project that requires communicating with others, connecting with others, networking, reaching out to audience or clients of some sort, or some other business activities of some sort as well. 11th house can indicate as well some conversation about increasing gains, or some plan that you jot down, or make, or about how to increase income gains, salary, for example, and so on. Then, but it's very social influence. I like it. Then there is another combination happening, another new beginning, because new moons and new beginnings. They affect you for the next 2 weeks, but then there is another new beginning which will affect you for 2 years. And it's happening in your ninth house between Saturn and Mars. And that's happening around the 5th of April. I don't expect it doesn't usually happen on the day, but in April you can expect some new developments happening in regards to this ninth house here, which is connected to higher knowledge, studying, learning, and you might undertake some project of learning, for example, or a course or a class that might take a lot of, and put that you have to put a lot of efforts. It's two difficult planets, Saturn and Mars, that are acting there, that will require you to be consistent, Saturn, and put a lot of energy there, Mars, and willpower. It might be starting on a university course, and it might be even imposed on you from outside. You might not want it because there's a bit of a forcefulness of Mars and Saturn together, that you're forced to re-educate yourself, to take crash courses, to pre-qualify yourself, or to start studying something new, or to go on a course. And you have to be prepared that you really have to put it your all. It's not going to come easy to you. It's going to take you out of your comfort zone. The ninth house is also connected to teaching. Some of you might want to push themselves and get themselves out of their comfort zone in regards to teaching something new. I remember when there was Saturn and Mars in my ninth house from the sun years ago. And I remember this is when, and then Jupiter was also in the ninth house from the ascendant though. It's when I really overcame one of my biggest fears and I started teaching. So it's really kind of facing your fears with Saturn and Mars and doing a feat of heroism of some sort, or a feat of coming out of your comfort zone. And it's not going to be easy, but connected to ninth house, anything connected to ninth house, teaching, higher knowledge, you can start something difficult there. On another level, the ninth house is connected to the relationship with the father. There might be some tensions with some of you with father figures, or there might be or professors, or figures that kind of, you know, teacher figures, professor figures, or others from a higher social status. Usually is the ninth house. There can be some crisis or some tension that has to be solved around that time. On another level, you can start some difficult activity that is connected to relocating to a foreign country. Applying for visas, for documents. It will be kind of more prolonged process, maybe more stressful, and you have to be very dedicated, and you have to solve some problems there. Or some other activities connected to import export. That's another meaning of the ninth house, that you have to be very focused again, and or solve some problems related to such matters. But I hope that it's not going to be some crisis with the father or your relationship there, but it is a possibility sometimes with this. What else is the ninth house? It's your belief system. Well, two challenging planets there. It can be a bit of it can be some kind of an escalation of a situation, especially the first couple of weeks of April, about fighting with others about your beliefs. And maybe even some kind of a feeling like a crash in your beliefs, or feeling that your beliefs are being challenged. But the Saturn and Mars is a very feisty combination. So I would advise that it's basically more like you're trying to fight for what you believe, and it can create conflict with others who don't see on the same level with you, for example. Another thing of the ninth house is far travel. With Saturn and Mars there, if you have a long trip somewhere, a long distance travel, I would be a bit cautious. Mars also rules and Saturn 6 and 8 houses, which are houses of problems in the ninth house, or accidents and stuff. Especially, if you can avoid the time of the exact conjunction, the 5th of April, but I would say 2-3 days before the 5th of April, 2-3 days after that. But if possible, most of April for long-term travels or going to a foreign country. It's just there might be more difficult situations there, let's say, and you want to be more cautious. Okay, and then there is another very important conjunction happening with you, which is another new cycle. This one will last 12 to 13 years. This will be the Jupiter Neptune conjunction here in your 10th house, Gemini. It's a gentle conjunction, it removes barriers, but it's a very rare conjunction. So it happens on the 12th of April, but again, it's not going to be exact. You might feel it even a month before or 2 months after, because it's very slow moving planets, Jupiter and Neptune. But they remove barriers, and the 10th house is your career, and something can come like a inspiration, like some, because it's the gentle planets, Jupiter, Neptune. They don't come and crash you to start something new. They do it in an inspiring way, because Jupiter is divine wisdom, or angelic wisdom, and Neptune is divine love. So it's in a inspirational, loving way that some barriers might be removed in regards to your career, in regards to your social status. Some inspirational new projects can appear in regards to your career. Some of you might even start having a inspiration to be in more gentle careers like healing, or have opportunities to open on a path that might unfold for the next 12 years. As I said, the very Jupiterian, Neptunian, Piscean careers. What is that? Art, music, healing, psychology, the mystical, even things like astrology that are more kind of mystical for other people, about healing and helping others, so on some charitable career. Or Jupiter and Neptune are both very foreign oriented, global, something connected to foreign countries, careers, to traveling. Both are connected to traveling. Or if you have already such a career, expect some new infusion of inspiration and new opportunities that can flow to you there. Uh, of course, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces can indicate certain loss, but it's a loss that it's some kind of a blessing in disguise. And God's making you a favor of maybe losing one career, and even having a bit of a time when you're not working sometimes, because Neptune is to go with the flow, to rest, to relax, to become in a more receptive state rather than go state, and to receive some profound wisdom, Jupiter. And so even if you're released from certain career or career path, it's almost like you're ready to let it go. You're releasing it and you're free, and you'd feel that there will be new inspiration comes to you, and you'll be directed towards a more gentle, more, and I know Gemini might like more go energy, but something can reorient for some of you, not all of you. It's not always, especially if your ascendant is Gemini. Sometimes the career house might be in Aquarius, sometimes might be in Aries. But using whole sign, which is the only thing we can use right now, is uh, shows your 10th house in Pisces. So there can be relief of responsibility, releasing of certain worldly responsibilities and duties, and even kind of adapting and being more adaptable to a new role in the world that is more benevolent, that is more almost like as a protective of others. Not protective so much. Neptune and Jupiter is that there's more wisdom there for you, that you're helping more people in some respect as well, that you're more charitable in a way, and even your image in society can become more kindly, more charitable, and there can be an opportunity for you to do something on a larger scale that is more visible to society, that you get inspired towards such activity around that time, and that will benefit others in some way. But also Jupiter and Neptune, always can think of it as divine blessing in some way. Of course, on a personal level, I'm talking. For the world, it's not necessarily. For the world, always the more difficult influences of every planet happens. But of course, there is a bit of a danger of over idealizing situation connected to your worldly achievements, to career, to some goal. But you need to be able to imagine something in order for it uh, to happen. So I would say dream big when it comes to your career. It can be a time when you actually just get an inspiration to dream up about a new career that you might put over the next 12 years in action. It's not necessarily that now in April you start it, but there is this gentle inspiration towards that and towards a more benevolent and kinder role you can play. And people who are in Jupiterian or Neptunian careers can have a great opportunity to expand and grow if they're in healing as well, or if they're in teaching of some sort, if they're in higher knowledge or mystical, spiritual, or medical careers. Okay, or the careers of selling a dream of some sort. But your reputation can, as I said, can suffer, not suffer, but gain some um, loose. There might be the falling of some barriers and some masks and gaining of some more benevolent image. Okay, well, of course, sometimes Neptune Jupiter can be a scandal, but I don't want to go there. They need to be doing a square to your ascendant or sun or moon. For example, if you're around 22 degrees Gemini, sun, moon, or ascendant, 21, 22, 23, you have to be a bit more careful because Neptune can be really disillusioning with some career or with some person in your life, and the masks falling off, the Neptune Jupiter around some big disappointment, bursting of a bubble of idealization that you had about someone or something. But then it's again like a blessing for you because you're relieved from some, let's say, lie. You're released from some kind of illusion. And then the last thing that's happening is a new moon eclipse in your 12th house with Uranus. That's happening on the 30th of April at the 11th degree of Taurus. So if you're Gemini sun, often you might have some planet in Taurus. Check out if you have anything within 3 degrees of the 11th degree in Taurus. You would feel this very powerfully. But otherwise, all Geminis, they are, the 12th house is kind of a hidden house. They can be the end of the month, very powerful, intuitive insights, like sudden download of information because Uranus is involved, suddenly knowing things. In your dreams can be restless. You might find it hard to sleep the end of April, the start of March. You might feel like a foreboding feeling, something is happening because eclipses are always, there's a big shifts collectively that happen around that time, big shakeups, big surprises collectively, especially with Uranus. So you might feel this unease on a psychic level, but unless you have a planet in Taurus, it's not going to affect you directly materially. It's more on the psychic level, and it's more on the, some of you might have like a prophetic dreams about the future around that time. This is very powerful because Uranus rules the future 12 houses, dreams, and others might have like an inner knowing. Others can have some really prophetic readings with psychic or astrologist or some kind of a mystical figure as well. For others, it can open an opportunity because it's a Rahu eclipse, which means something that come to you about foreign countries or faraway place towards the end of April. But this eclipse will be 1 month long. Sorry, 1 year long. The influence is 1 year. So I would say more like after April, there can be opportunity for some of you to suddenly move to foreign countries or to start some activity or business or interaction with foreigners or people from faraway places, or sometimes 11th houses with aliens and invisible spirits and entities. So start a contact with such as well. You never know. Or the opening of psychic communication is the 12th house, the opening of spiritual experiences, let's say. For some of it, it's not often, it's a very rare experience to have those, but eclipse in the 12th house can trigger it. You never know. Or if you are a researcher or a scientist, the 12th house is where you download information suddenly, and eclipse there, you can start some new project because it's a new moon eclipse, some new project that you suddenly have an insight into some mystery or secret, or some of you might start suddenly have suddenly like an inspiration about some new creative project because it's Uranus, like a flashlight in 12 houses, creativity, whether you paint, art, music, 12 house is also starting if you're in a career which is 12 house oriented, which is a bit like Pisces on the 12th house, on the 10th house that we talked about, which is about healing, psychic, astrology, all those kind of more. Or if you work in a prison or such things, they can be like a new, or in tourism, 12th house. If you work on an island somewhere, they can be like a powerful new beginning there, or starting something like that, or a new exciting project that you start connected to. Working with a psychologist, for example, 12 houses to work with psychologists to understand the inner motivations. 12 houses, our vices and addictions. Rahu there can help us, the Uranus there, new moon Uranus can help us suddenly cut connections with addictions or any behaviors, or receive illumination, sudden knowledge about why am I acting in a certain way. The last thing I have to say, because it is the 12th house, it's connected to losses sometimes. A new moon eclipse there can indicate some kind of a sudden unexpected loss, But also 12th house, the house of secrets. Uranus, the planet of truth. Because it participates there, there can be sudden truths that come to the surface that kind of wow, And they can be like a sudden realization, wow, now I see why I've been acting in a certain way, eureka. Or it can be a sudden a sudden surprise that comes to you from outside, like that shocks you a little bit, something that was hidden from you that you become aware of. So there you go, that's what we have for you guys. I hope the Jupiter Neptune conjunction in your career house will bring you divine blessings. And again, as I said, very rarely, but sometimes it can be hidden under initial some losses, because this Piscean energy, too much Pisces, Neptune, and Jupiter can expand. It can have an influence of a loss, but don't be worried, because it's some kind of a hidden blessing there underneath it. And it's connected to something about your social status, careers, goals, and so on. So thank you so much, and I hope you join me to study with me astrology, how to interpret the natal chart with my technique. I will teach you all my techniques. You just need to know the main influences, the main meanings of the planets, the houses, and I'll show you how you can dig into the chart and make sense of it. Thank you.